All right, as you might have just heard, that was the closing bell. So we are just finishing up here. We'll see where the Qs and SPY end up. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Good afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for May 19th, 2022. Qs down 0.5%, SPY down 0.63, and IWM holding up kind of the best of the bunch at just about flat on the day. Coming into today, bearish on the Qs and SPY and IWM. All right. We had a daily sell setup that triggered yesterday. We did have a decent sized wide range bar. I think we nearly reached 5% down yesterday by the close. And so coming into today, a little bit more of a resting day, neutral day is kind of what we expected, but still bearish on the Qs and SPY. So as we take a look at the hourly tried to hold here, tried to transition up, and then after the gap, it ended the uptrend. So a very short-lived attempt there, had a higher low. Now on the daily here, could we get a retest? Could we get a bounce similar to what we got here? Okay. I think that is not what I would expect. Here's a kind of a better example on the SPY. See how it got the sell set up? We rolled over. We didn't quite make it to the bottom, right? But this did take some time there to kind of finally get the bounce. Is there hope for that? That's not my expectation. My expectation is that we will continue lower, okay? Because we are in a downtrend on every time frame. Now, I think what was to the aid of this attempt to bounce here was that at that time, the monthly was still holding up a lot better. Now the monthly is broken. So I think attempts to bounce are probably not going to produce very much follow through. Okay. So, if you look at the hourly, again, we were a little bit extended down into support, but the more that we stay down here without any kind of bounce, the more bearish. All right. So, kind of what we expected for today, which unfortunately is not very exciting, just kind of a narrow range day. Ended up being a very sloppy day, in fact. We had a attempt to break out that got rejected. Second attempt also got rejected today. And that's just because we're in a bearish environment. We're in a bearish market. Market's in a downtrend. Okay, so attempts to bounce we can see is getting rejected. Going into tomorrow, we don't necessarily have to go right away, but we could because we're bearish. We already did the sell setup, and any kind of rest today didn't really show much bullishness. Okay, so still going to be bearish going into tomorrow. Okay. All right. And I told the room this also about today. I really didn't see a whole lot, kind of from the morning. I was kind of just kind of chipping away at what I made after the morning. So in the afternoon, I didn't think there was a lot to do. Mentioned this REE. On this base here, not the most liquid thing, but the level 2 looked good on this REE, and that ended up being pretty tricky throughout the day on the REE. So here was the, let me zoom out a little bit. Here was the initial break in the morning, just a tight base here. Level 2 was good, okay, and then got the break. Unfortunately, on the bounce here, I got filled at 74, so quite a ways way off the bottom, but was still pretty nice, especially, because the offer stayed intact all the way down. Nice drop. That ended up being how this thing behaved all day. You can see we had this base here, actually got in it right here, and then it moved up and I got out of it. So I did miss that drop and then miss this one as well. REE was pretty tricky today, but I didn't expect that this would be kind of the thing that kind of made the day, and then a couple opportunities here and there that I missed as well. Something else I mentioned in the room today is just how tricky the scalps have been because of how much they've been market dependent. So when you look at the Qs or the SPY today, and you kind of look at, okay, what patterns are we getting and which ones are getting follow through, it was very hard to know what the next move was going to be. Right here, we got a bunch of topping tails producing a 15-minute sell setup. Right, that looks lower. Instead, we popped. Right, we moved up and we popped. So then, right after you get this move up, yes, we are into resistance, but we're also breaking some. Right, the next expectation might be a little bit more follow through to the upside, and we came right back in. So a lot of these really affected how the level twos were going to work, whether you got 2 cents on the initial pop, 3 cents, or just the initial pop and then right back down. So yeah, I thought that was the trickiest part today. You look at today's price action and we just didn't go anywhere. And so all attempts to kind of move one way or the other ended up being rejected. So we really got that rest day. You can see here, narrow doji bar essentially on the Qs and on the SPY, right? Narrow body bar here, but again, mostly a doji there. So, so that made things a little bit more difficult when the market's trending and moving, right? It's a little bit easier to ride things along with it, and that includes the scalps. So, I thought it was a tricky day. I told the room too, it's one of those where you could easily, it's a fine line between being up or down today, because a lot of things were flipping, and depending on how bad things flipped, or if it gave you time to get out, kind of was all the difference. So don't really like today's like today, but at the same time it's one that we kind of knew it would be like this. And then again, without really good gaps to work with, I did have a call, which I totally didn't forgot about until now because it didn't trigger, so it didn't matter. Initially the INO was doing a sell setup and gapping over this. We have void up above, so I thought that was maybe worth a shot here on the INO. Watched it in the morning. It wasn't something that could be scalped. I watched it, so I did have a plan to play this when it was doing this morning base right here. So there was going to be a base breakout with a shakeout in it. So I did have a call actually this morning, which I forgot about. It didn't trigger though. It would have been over the high of the day, and instead it just kind of came in instead. And just came in, no play, no nothing. Good in uptrend today. So that's fine. That's staying out of trouble, especially is a part of the game now that we're out of earnings season. Okay. All right. But I hope you did well today. And like I said, at the very least, stayed out of trouble. We'll be back at it tomorrow to finish out the week. All right. And I think more so than has been the case in the past, probably, at any point this year, it's all about the market, the Qs and SPY. And so, that market bias, seeing that we got that alignment to the downside, that is going to color everything, right, moving forward. Okay. All right. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.